Hi everyone, this is Shudeshna and I welcome you all to my YouTube channel. I am posting this video after a long break as I was going through some big problems. However, I am really thankful for the love that you all showed me through WhatsApp and other social media platforms. Now, I will try my best to help you in preparing for your term end examination. In today's video, I will try to make a quick assessment about what you should read for the term end examination from block 1. I know I was talking about CHAUCER only in my last video, but now in this video it will be compact discussion only from the exam perspective. So do watch the video till the end and don't forget to subscribe to this channel because new videos will be uploaded again, and hit the bell icon so that you will be notified anytime I upload a video. So without wasting much time, let us begin. In this video, I will talk about the questions that generally come in term end examination from block 1 MEG 1. Our first question is Chaucer as a modern poet. Chaucer has been called the father of English poetry because he was the first English poet to write in a style of language which is readily recognizable today. The Anglo-Saxon literature or even the metrical romances written before Chaucer are dull and monotonous and do not have the vitality and variety which characterize the works of Chaucer. The age of Chaucer is essentially an age of transition from the medievalism to the modern time. In this age, many forces were at work which paved the path for the Renaissance that attained its flowering in the age of Elizabeth and thus ushered in the modern age. Chaucer lived and wrote in this period of transition. He stood between the old and the new, pointing his fingers to the future. He made it his business in poetry to paint the life as he found it and left others to draw the models. As a painter of the contemporary life, he is accurate, vivid, and faithful. These are some points that I want you to note down, and you can use these points in your note. You have to make an answer for 20 marks. So prepare your note. Our next question is the art of characterization in the general prologue of Canterbury Tales by Chaucer. Until Chaucer's day, popular literature had been busy chiefly with the gods and heroes of a golden age. It had been essentially romantic, so had never attempted to study men and women as they are, or to describe them so that the reader recognizes them, not as ideal heroes but as his own neighbors. The historians of our literature is tempted to linger over this prologue and to quote from it passage after passage to show how keenly and yet kindly our first modern poet observed his fellow men. Chaucer employs poetry with tolerant curiosity to study men and manners. In the prologue, he introduces 30 pilgrims representing all types and shades of the 14th century society except the highest and the lowest, the two extremes unlikely to meet in one course. He gives us a fine picture of his time as he describes the characters very minutely. In the group of pilgrims, there were a knight, a squire, a yeoman, a prioress, a miller, a monk, a friar, a merchant, and so on. So totally there were 30 pilgrims, and every one of them were supposed to tell two stories while going and two stories while coming back from the pilgrimage. However, Chaucer could not complete total 120 stories which he planned. The Nonne Pistol is one of those stories. Now the questions that generally comes from the Nonne Pistol, the ideas Chaucer wishes to convey in the Nonne Pistol, Chaucer's narrative art in the Nonne Pistol, critically comment on the Nonne Pistol, the main theme of the Nonne Pistol as an animal fable, and how do you connect with the prologue, the Nonne Pistol, or is it a happy story? as we find in the prologue. So the prologue does not mean the general prologue. The non-priestal itself has a prologue. What is the prologue? Let us have a look. So all of the pilgrims were telling the stories. The knight told a story, the miller told a story, and everyone were telling stories. When the monk was telling a story, it was very grim, very tragic. So the knight just stopped him and said that I am tired of hearing this dismal and tragic story. I want to hear something merry, something happy. The host easily agrees to this and says to the monk that please tell a happy story. But the monk declines this request, and then the host requests the non-priest to tell a happy story and cheer up the group. The priest laughingly agrees to this proposal. Then the non-priest starts telling story. Now, what is the basic summary of the story? This is basically a beast fable with a clear moral. The story is about Chanticleer, a magnificent cock. Now, Chanticleer has 7 wives, and his favorite of them is Pertilot. One morning, Chanticleer wakes up having a bad dream and shares this with Pertilot. In his dream, he saw that he was being eaten by a fox. Pertilot calms him down and says that it was just a dream and there is nothing to worry about. So there is a long argument but Chanticleer tries to convince Pertilot that see, there are several events where the dreams were like omens for the upcoming events. We should not let go the dreams. We should contemplate on the dreams. But then Pertilot said that you don't have courage. You are a very cowardly person. So I'm not talking to you. Then Chanticleer had to bow down to his wife and he let go of the dream. The next day, when Chanticleer goes to a farm, there he finds a fox. The fox started to praise Chanticleer and convinced him to sing a song for him. Being flattered enough, Chanticleer puffed his chest and closed his eyes in order to sing. As soon as he closes his eyes, the fox takes the opportunity and starts running after grabbing him through his neck. Now, when the fox was running, grabbing Chanticleer through his neck, the owner of Chanticleer, that means the widow and her 3 daughters, Chanticleer lived in their cattle only. They used to earn their living through their small cattle. So they were running behind the fox. Then the 7 wives of Chanticleer, they were also running behind the fox. In that situation, Chanticleer thought of doing the same thing to the fox that the fox did to him. Chanticleer starts to praise the fox and starts to insist him to tell how he grabbed Chanticleer so fast using such a brilliant idea. The fox eventually gets flattered and opens his mouth to tell his story. Just at that moment, Chanticleer breaks free and flies onto a tree. So this was the summary of the non-priest tale. This is basically an animal fable with a moral. What is the moral? You should not trust a flatterer. So what do we understand as animal fable? Basically in animal fables, animals behave like human beings and there is a clear moral after the story. This is also a mock heroic epic, as a long narrative poem presents a very trivial event as if it is a matter of universal importance. The poem adopts various conventional features of heroic poetry. Chaucer also deals with the position of women in the society. Traditionally, women were considered to be the sources of all evil and Eve was denounced for causing the fall of human beings. We all know the story of Adam and Eve. The non-priest obviously holds the view but dismisses it as a joke. Now some things you need to remember. The questions I discussed here are for 20 marks and prepare notes for that. You have to prepare. Now various times in term and exam questions were asked mostly from the lines of the poems. This causes some sort of fear and anxiety in the students sometimes. But you must get over that feeling and understand that you are not supposed to fully remember the poem. You just have to recognize the lines and understand its source. So reading the poems with curious attention and understanding the concept will make it only easier for you. If you have my note, just keep that note in one side and keep the text in another side, and with full attention read the text and the analysis. Even if you don't have my notes, you make your own notes on the poems. Just take some lines, some stanzas according to the concept, according to the format of the poetry, and write down the main things, main concept and the critical point of view, and just go through with full attention. Do not be anxious. It will only decrease your confidence level and will affect your performance in the exam. While analyzing the poems, try to put at least 3 points in your answer. First, the source of the lines, means the poem and the poet. Then the analysis of the lines, means what is the direct meaning of the lines. And then the critical comment on the lines. Okay, you can add something, you can always add something, but these are the basic things that you need to put in the answer. Now, I want to tell you that you have to put a proper to the point answer to the particular question. Never elaborate too much unnecessarily. If you have a question which is unknown to you, just write only that much which you know, because even if you write excessive things without relevance, that won't be count possibly. And if you need notes are available. You can WhatsApp me for the notes. This will be a paid service, and I wish you very good luck. That was it for today. So keep your mind calm and hope for the best. Thank you very much.